looks like Noda is going to be your winner of this Portuguese Grand Prix. Is your champion. JJ splits the middle, gets past both drivers. Hey, there we go. Welcome everybody to round 2 of Split 2. Round 2, Split 2. Try saying that 5 times fast. Here of FRL. This is week 2 here of our 12-week season coming back to Jeddah, a track that's been a driver favorite here in the league and a personal favorite of mine. I'm really excited to be here. And of course, it's not just me, as it never is here in Split 2. I've of course got Syntex, the Split 1 driver, with me here. Syntex, how are you doing today? Are you excited for some Jeddah?
Welcome everybody. Yeah, of course, as always in every weekend we're waiting so long for the next race, and today we have Jeddah. What's your opinion about this specific track?
So this specific track, I think it's really challenging for the drivers. Never going to be an easy track. Definitely it favors the brave and the bold. It's one of those tracks where you really have to be willing to take the risk to see the reward. I know some of our drivers in Split 1, mainly I'm thinking of Jack, who openly admits this is one of his favorite tracks since it came out. They are willing to really put the risk in, which is where the reward comes in. And I always talk about it every week, risk versus reward, and what is the better option. So it's going to be really exciting to watch and see what drivers are willing to take that risk, and just who is going to get close and who is going to push it past the limits. Who knows their limits, who's going to push past.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. We talk about every single week, as you said already, the risk versus reward. And in this specific track, I will say, if you will take a higher risk, you will gain a better reward, especially about the time. Of course, this track have some tricky moments. For example, this long left turn, you can easily spin there, and it might cost a bit, but of course this is very fast track, you know, and it might be kind of difficult to overtake. Of course, if you will have DRS, that might be helpful, but in any other case, it could be around non-passing everyone. You hold you need to hold just behind the back, in front of the driver, just maybe hold the gap time that you had. But anyway, I can't wait any longer about today's race, and I'm very, very happy about that. And our first driver that finishing his own hot lap is the Westwood with 1 minute 30.2. That we need to wait for the others, I guess.
It's funny because I'm looking here right now, just looking at a couple of little stats about Jeddah. It's funny because the real life track record is a 130.7. So, and you've got Crash coming in at a 128.2. And then it looks like Pink just setting in a 144, getting just a little bit of sightseeing. It's really, really funny to see that, because you said the 132, and I was like, well, wait a minute. 137 is the track record. 27 corners here in Jeddah, and it's really a case of just it's going to be stressful for some of these drivers because it's 27 corners, and they're really going to have to just keep on it throughout the
Yeah,
duration.
exactly. And also, I will say that this track is very technique. As you said, the 27 corners, some of them might be difficult. For example, turn 1 and turn 2, you need to be very patient on the throttle while you exit, and then you can fully push. And of course, the first sector is also very tricky because it's better to full push on the throttle, but it's so hard to manage to stay on the line, and it's very easy to invalid there.
Of course, turn 27 is where we saw that infamous Max Verstappen crash in qualifying when he was on just a crazy lap there in 2021 when the track was first shown. So, a great example of that risk versus reward. I think one of the coolest things right now is that we do have a full driver grid this weekend for both splits. Of course, all drivers in both splits are participating this week. I think that's the first time I've seen that happen in FRL in a while.
Maybe one more thing that we really need to get with the official statement, right, Bradley?
Yes, and I will let you make that official statement, Syntax.
Oh, thank you. Thank you
you're
so much,
welcome.
really.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Okay, so about the gamer, the league has decided that for this season he will be banned. We don't want to talk about why he is banned and any other case that these situations have place. But its official statement, gamer would not drive in this season.
I'm really glad I'm not a steward some days because those decisions are not ones that I want to be involved in making. 14 drivers have put in time so far, Syntax. Anyone caught your eye so far other than Crash up there with a 128.2? Of course, we still got 5 drivers, including our winner from last week and our pole sitter from last week, waiting to put in laps. So I'm sure the times are going to ramp up as we go through. We're only part of the way through this qualifying session. Anyone catching your eye so far? Who is your prediction for the weekend?
I don't want to make any predictions because you know how it's finished. But Sanko really catch my eye, and I'm waiting for his own hot lap. Also, I'm waiting for the Puchacz, Pefixan, and maybe Joker. So Nexiak also. So these drivers that were pretty good in last race in Bahrain. So I'm waiting for them because Crash set a bar very high with that 28.2. So far, we cannot see any driver that can get any closer to him. But maybe something will change. Maybe when we will have end of the qualifications, we will see. But as I said, I don't want to make any predictions today because I know that it won't happen.
Next Jack currently coming around here through turn 26 into 27. He was purple in the middle sector, so looking really strong as he comes through turn 27. Final corner here on this track. We're going to watch him run down the final DRS zone down to the main straight. What time is he going to put in? He throws in a 128.23, less than a hundredth of a second off of Crash. So Crash's time is beatable, is what that tells me. And I'm going to make a prediction, Syntax. If you won't, I will. Ferrari Masterclass. I'll go ahead and say it because Split 1, we've already seen, like I said, Jack in Split 1 has said this is his favorite track. And then JJ, of course, is a very strong driver who has already said it's the Ferrari weekend. So I think Sanquinor is going to have to bring it around for Ferrari because I want to see a double Ferrari win. Right now, he's P4, so a little bit of time to find, but he's not too far off the pace.
But it's still like drivers have almost 9 minutes to left of the qualification session, so we know that anything could happen, and probably a lot of drivers will set a better time. We still have to wait because we still have three drivers without any time. We can see that Puchacz is now on his own hot lap, so basically we still have to wait and maybe you'll agree with me, but a lot of drivers struggling and they are not pushing as much as they can. For example, in the sector 1, where you, in my opinion, of course, you can find the most of the time on the whole track, because sector 2 and sector 3 is like maybe two corners that you really need to focus, and then you're going strictly straight. So it might be the main key of the getting a better time, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would agree with you there. I think long term too, as we watch the race, last season I spent a lot talking about qualifying race versus race pace, or qualifying pace versus race pace, and the fact that even if you can throw in one strong lap, can you make that last across 20 laps on a track? And 27 corners across, how many laps is the race, Syntax? I've already forgotten.
Oh my lord, what is that question? I don't remember either. I
You're
would
the
say like,
driver.
yeah, but I don't remember. Okay, I don't have to remember everything, right? It's a lot of tracks in this game. I
So
would say like 27, 28, if that's correct. 26, 27, yeah, something like this.
So I think the driver's
Never mind.
dexterity. 26, I think, is what I'm being told. So I think 26, but I guess we'll find out. But the dexterity of these drivers to keep a pace across 26 laps, I think, is going to be where we really see the differentiation between a strong driver who wins and a driver that, you know, can just put in one great qualifying lap. It's really going to be a case of hit or miss for them there.
Bradley, I just want to check one thing. Can you see the time between 5th and 6th place? It's huge
892
difference, right?
305. That's
Yeah.
huge.
But now just check from 6th to 10th. This is incredible.
Wow.
How small gaps we have over Jeddah right now, and what we can say surely that the fight will be very tight.
Turn one. I always say this, but I think turn one and the first lap overall, whoever gets out of there unscathed is going to be the lucky one. So it's really going to be a case of watching that, and I am very excited to watch where turn one comes through. Whoever qualifies up front, if they can survive turn one, they'll be okay. For Joker, I think it's a case for him of just surviving a lap right now because he's invalidated and we're 5 minutes left and he has not put a time in yet. So I've seen him go on multiple outlaps and invalidate multiple times. So unfortunately for him, he is struggling here. I'm guessing this just isn't a track that he likes.
Yeah.
Oh, and there goes Senor.
Well, that's what I said. Some turns might be a little bit tricky and you can easily lose your grip, and it could finish like this. For now, Senor Piotras is placing himself on the first place. I hope he will stay on there, but of course it's still a few moments until the end of the qualification session. I'm still waiting for the FOXXXES because I will say like some things never changes, and I would say FOXXXES is a good example for that, because we know that very young driver have a potential to be a very fast driver, but in my opinion he really need to eliminate those mistakes, and I don't know that he even make a one single lap without the invalidation, I would say.
I would have to look to be for sure, but I don't believe he has. And that's very unfortunate for him. Bis 2000 is the driver I'm watching right now, who just lost it there in Sector 3, coming around turns 23, 24, had to back out of it there and go off track. So unfortunately for him, another lap tossed away. Fishu is currently out going through the second sector, coming around turns 16, 17, 18. He is a driver that I am personally going to watch as well. Was really, really strong in round one. Of course, only finished P13 DNF'd, but a driver that I think has a lot of potential here in Split 2 and definitely could bring it long term here in Split 2. So he is one that I'm going to watch out for. And we've already said it, though. All of the drivers are so close that I think you could pick any of these drivers and they'd have an equal chance of winning today.
Also, I need to a little bit interrupt you because you said that you're counting for the double podium for Ferrari, right? But we
Right.
have only one Ferrari on the track.
Commentator curse?
The race even haven't started yet, but it's already begun. Okay, I don't know what's happening with the Geo, if I remember correctly, but as I said before, we have only one Ferrari, so your predictions cannot have the place right now. Maybe he will join a little bit later, so it might be interesting. But for now, Sanquinior just jumped into the third place, so we have Crash, Nexak, and Sanquinior about top three positions about right now. And is there any other driver that you're waiting especially? Oh my lord, what a beautiful time from Crash, 1 minute 28.0, so close to getting lower than 1 minute 28.
Crash. I don't know where that time came out of Crash, but that was impressive as he comes through. For myself personally, the drivers that I am looking at, as I said, I already think Ferrari is going to be a big one here. So Sanquinor, I do have a good feeling for him if he survives the first lap. Little bit of a driver that I don't think is being watched as much is Vixie. And I think Vixie could bring something really strong to the table. And then
I hope so. He was looking very strong last week, right?
He was. And again, all of the drivers are very, very evenly matched. Vixie last week finished P6, so all of the drivers are very evenly matched here. Nexak just went purple sector 1 though, so I'm going to keep my eye on him. I think Nexak could bring something strong to the table too. I finished P5 last week, but again, I just think it's a matter of watching long term. While these drivers put in great times, I'm still trying to learn their race pace, so it's hard for me to say exactly who has what, but I think Nexak, Sanquinor, and Vixie, I'm going to call that my top 3.
And also don't forget about Puchacz. He also have a very good pace. Our winner from Bahrain. And still, we have also very strong driver that is Joker, and we can see that he isn't invalid his own hot lap right now, and he's coming to the third sector to the finishing last corner. Nexak is blocking him right now. That was a very dangerous situation. Probably about that, Joker wouldn't have a very good time. It might cost him a little bit, and I will be a little bit upset. Probably he will go with the second try. He's placing right now at the P13.
He's going to have to do another push lap because P13 isn't good enough, and you've only got 45 seconds left here in qualifying. So they're going to have to push for a final run through here. Unfortunately for Joker, that means the best of his tires and battery are gone. So I don't anticipate him improving through this lap, but he's given it a good try here as he comes through first sector, coming around to the first of 3 DRS zones. Up a 1/10 and a half. I still don't know if that's going to be enough time for him to come through and put in a stronger time than what he's got. A little bit slippery as he comes there through turn 13, now coming around 14, 15, 16, and 17 as he comes around. Still trying to go through. Checkered flag has fell. Crash, Nexak locked in. Sanquinor is going to hope to hold on to that position as he goes through. Joker's still coming around here. Coming third sectors, he's going to hit turns 22, 23, 24, trying to hold out and put everything on the table that he can as he comes around. Turn 26 into 27, DRS open, second of 3 DRS zones. He's coming around 27. He's going to keep it tidy here, little bit more he could have given as he's going to come through. Final DRS open. You can see the McLaren behind him of, I believe that is Puchacz, coming through, and Joker is going to put himself up into P10. Puchacz is going to come across and put himself on provisional pole with a 128.072. Fishy's going to come across up into P7. We still got a couple cars out on track here. Kubo and Kushor are the main ones that I'm seeing here. Kubo in front of Kushor coming around turn 27 as he comes around the corner looking really strong
Vixie.
again. Vixie coming up with a P3 on a second push lap. Very impressive coming out of the Alpine driver. Kubu's going to come across here. Kubo is going to come up into P13 and hold on there. Kushor is going to be the next one across the line. Kushor is going to come around and Kushor is going to put in a time that was good enough for P15 not improving there. But what a qualifying session out of nowhere. Pujols right at the very end putting in a great time there. 6 milliseconds between Pujols and Crash. So, what a time. Bimolino also qualifying on the mediums down in P14. I wonder why he stuck with mediums and didn't try to improve.
Yeah, between P9 and P10 we have almost 4 thousands, I will say. That's what I said. The time difference between the drivers are incredibly small.
It's amazing to me, and looking through a lot of laps lost to track limits is the main thing I'm seeing as well. So it's very important for these drivers to try to hold on here throughout this race. We'll see how many laps it is since we're bad commentators and we don't know. So we'll figure out how many laps this is and then go from there. All right, waiting on the formation lap to begin here, and I think it is time now. So, formation lap coming in here. 19 drivers coming through. Pujols, Crash, Vixie, Nextshak, Sanquinor, Pink, Velik, Senor, Fishu, Fabic, Joker, Youngies, Kubu, Bimolino, Kushor, Ofsky, Toby, Bis, Pafixian is your grid. Bimolino and Kushor opting for mediums. Everybody else is going to qualify on softs. Syntex, AWS predicted pit stop strategy is a soft to medium or a soft to hard. What tire would you prefer to go to off of the softs?
I think it's very simple because it shows like one lap earlier to go into the pit for the hards. So basically, if mediums with like a little bit longer stint with the softs, you can manage somehow to finish on the mediums. So with the one pit stop, I will say the first strategy is much better because you can really grind with that soft, right? And then you just somehow manage to finish on the mediums. So basically, I will say soft mediums is much better.
Tire degradation, a big problem drivers have to worry about around here. Of course, lots of fast sweeping corners. So, is tire temperatures a big problem for these drivers, Syntex?
Definitely. Even though it's a night, so the temperature wouldn't be, it shouldn't be, I will say, that big problem. But we know that if someone even slips a little, the tires with the temperature might be a big problem and might somehow disturb the main strategy for every single driver.
And of course, don't forget these drivers are going to have to prepare for safety cars and pit stops and VSCs. There's a million things they're going to need to put into their strategy as they go through. Pujols is starting to form up the grid here, and Pafixian is going to be last place here coming through, going to be the last driver to set up the grid. 25 laps of action, so we were wrong by about 2 laps here. 25 laps of action, Syntex. I hope you're ready for it. And last driver is on the grid here. And Syntex, take us into the start of this 25 laps of action.
So we're waiting for the 5 red lights and then we can begin the race. And the lights out and away we go. As we can see already, Nexak is doing a beautiful overtake. Of course, Sanquinier also pins trying to fight with that. We have a little bit too much things right now going on. We're seeing that a lot of drivers earned the place, but it's so close to each other, and I cannot go that fast to change without between the drivers because there's so much happening right now.
Absolute carnage going through. BIS 2000 losing out big time here. Kushor losing out big time in the rear as well. Right now we've got Crash and Pujols chasing each other down going into turn 13. Crash just a little too far away for that pass to happen. Yellow flag out in sector 1. Looks like just slow drivers going around the back of the grid. We've got Toby and Youngies battling it out here for P11. It looks like Toby is going to get past Youngies there and hold on to that position. Lots of carnage in the midfield. Front of the field still starting to set up a little bit steady. Crash, though, only a 10th of a second off here. He's got slipstream coming through on Pujols as they come around, coming toward turn 22, 23. Can he get the pass done going through this braking zone into the backstretch? It looks like he's right there, rear wing on the rear wheel, trying to come around. A little bit of a pass on the outside here. He's going to come around back to back, still right on the rear of Pujols here as they come around. Not close enough. Is he going to try to be the last of the late breakers here? Break a little bit deep here into turn 27. He thought about it. He may switch back to the inside here and try to have the drag race through. First lap through, and it looks like at the moment Pujols still doesn't have that lead guaranteed in. As they're going to go down the main straight here, they're going to come through side by side, and they're going to come around. Who is going to have the lead into turn 1? As Crash comes around, Crash is going to break a little bit later, side by side into turn 1, turn 2 here, and they're going to come around. Crash has to back out of it as he goes a little bit outside of track limits, and now you've got Nexak into the mix as well. Nexak is going to take advantage of that error by Crash. They're side by side, a little bit of wheel contact there, no damage. Nexak having to go off the track, and there's big contact there, and Crash is going to spin Sanquinier in the mix there, and that is going to be Nexak as well. Massive contact there coming in through what I believe was turn 5 and 6.
Being honest, I didn't saw any contact. I think both drivers just pushed too much throttle, and that's why they both spin. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe not. That's for the stewards, of course. This is their job. But for now, we're already seeing almost exact scenario as we had last week in the Bahrain, while Pujols have already 2 seconds time gap between him and Sanquinier, but we can already see that Sanquinier pushing off the limits and he's trying to catch Pujols as fast as it's possible, because of course you know that the DRS zone here is pretty strong.
DRS is very strong as they come through here. 1.6 seconds, of course, no DRS for the first 2 laps of the race. As we watch through here, Sanquinier, though, isn't going to be close enough to have DRS at the moment, and he's built up a gap on Pink as well, but you can see he is draining his battery. He's absolutely trying to gain any time he can on Pujols. DRS now enabled as Pujols takes us into lap 3 here. What a battle, though, for Crash there, and I don't think anything is over yet. I see here Vixie going into the pits already. Vixie into the pits, Bimolino, Pafixian into the pits, Nexak into the pits, of course, down 10 positions after his contact there with Crash, which I can guarantee you Crash is livid over that contact. That was crazy to see here. We've already seen Kubo, Fishu, Joker, Biss, and Velix pit, so lots of drivers already having to make pit stops here early, and I'm guessing all of it's due to damage. Toby up into P9 though at the moment, looking really strong here. I believe this is his FRL debut, so very impressive from him.
Daniel Piotras is trying to catch pins, and we're seeing that he is getting so much closer right now, and this is probably one of the smallest time gap between the drivers. Also, Yang is trying to attack Fabek, so a few different drivers have opportunity to overtake other drivers, and also Crash with the first penalty with the 3 seconds, probably going outside of the track with the track limits. But anyway, we need to catch out what Yankees is trying to do on Fabek. He have DRS, he will try to attack right now, but he's going outside, so Fabek will have a better opportunity to defend, but not right now. Beautiful overtake on the last corner from Yankees, but just right now, probably that Fabek would have DRS, so we will see a beautiful fight between those 2 drivers. Fabek is taking what he have before, and he's getting back on the 12th place with the Yankees on his back. Once again, also Toby with the overtake on FOXXXES, so it's already 4th lap, and we're seeing amazing fight between the drivers.
Drivers are not holding back here. 25 laps, and these 25 laps are going to go very fast for them. So they're absolutely not holding back here. Bimolino and Kubo, the teammates, battling it out here down the main straight. No team orders here for Aston Martin as they come around, and Fishu trying to take advantage of their battle as well. Fishu coming around, a little bit of a good run there as they come through the first few corners here, coming around into what is going to be turn 6, 7, 8. They're trying to look for passes, and Fishu just absolutely trying to go through. But this battle between FOXXXES and Toby is far from over as they come around, and they are going down the backstretch here, coming through turn 16, 17, side by side. They've passed each other about 5 or 6 times now. Now you've got Kushor getting in the mix. Kushor trying to build his way up through the points here, and as Toby and FOXXXES are battling, they're letting that gap to Crash open up. Gap 6.5 seconds there. And now Kushor into the mix. So this is going to be a 3-way battle for P8. And I don't think this battle's ending anytime soon. There's a couple of really, really good battles here. Yankees and Fabic still not over either, as Yankees gets back around Fabic into turn 27. But now Fabic is going to have DRS and Crash, the teammate of Yankees, getting into the mix here. So we'll see if any team orders come in to help Haas move up, as Fabic with DRS gets around Yankees with no issue here. Now we're going to jump back again. Toby drag racing FOXXXES down the straight, and Kushor wanting to get into the mix as well. Kushor not close enough here. Toby is going to defend well, and that means Toby back up into P8, and Toby needs to build a bit of a gap here because FOXXXES is not going to let this go at all. Yellow flag sector 3, I believe that is Joker who is spun, and that is a VSC deployed.
This is a very good situation for the Toby. Why? Because FOXXXES was pushing very hard Toby, and Toby had over, I will say, like 10% of the battery, so defending for him might be a little bit difficult in the next few laps, but this VSC, I will say, help him a little. But those time gaps between the drivers, we can see already Vixie is losing 17 seconds to the 10th place to Kushor. So maybe the top 10 of the drivers might get a little bit closer to each other. We can already see that Sanquinor is in less than 1 second, so basically he is in the DRS zone. We will say that he will catch Puchacz, or not really. No, not really. So basically Puchacz have once again opportunity to lose this time and go more, earning more time in front of the Sanquinor. But also we need to talk about Pins and Senior Piotras, because we have another beautiful fight between those two drivers. Pins going inside now, trying to attack Pins Senior Piotras with outside, but it didn't get any better than it was before, and now we'll be trying to catch him. Also FOXXXES lose 2 positions between the Kushor and Toby with a beautiful fight, and they're going still wheel to wheel, but Kushor is now in the best place because he jumped over 2 drivers. FOXXXES with a beautiful trying to attack inside Westwood. I'm sorry Toby, because I don't have view as much as Bradley, but now we can see that drivers trying to fight and going really outside of the track, so I hope they wouldn't earn any of the penalties. Right now Toby don't have any of the DRS, so FOXXXES can push in front of him Vixie with another 3 seconds time penalty, and this is what I'm talking every single week. Those penalties might be very crucial in the end of the race, because as always, a few drivers might jump a little bit higher in the final grid.
The penalties are going to definitely play out as we go through. I think the big battle right now, Youngies, Fabic, Crash trying to go around the outside here of Youngies, Fabic trying to go around the outside of Crash, and Youngies losing 2 positions here, but Crash and Fabic still battling going around turn 27. They're still wheel to wheel. I don't know who got DRS out of the 2 of them, and it looks like Crash, so Crash gonna be up. Youngies diving into the pits now. Top 10 drivers, I heard you mention the time gap there between 10 and 11. The top 10 drivers have not pit. Everybody from 11 back has been in the pits at least once, so those time gaps aren't very representative here, as we see Bimolino and Vixie battling it out around turn 27. DRS is playing a a massive opportunity to help here. All of these drivers, the DRS is making the difference for some of these passes as we go through here. Bimolino with Vixie right behind him trying to go through, and fastest lap of the Grand Prix set by Bimolino just now. There's so many battles I don't know what to keep up with here, Syntex, so you're going to have to help me watch a few things at the same time. Right now I'm watching Senor and Pink as this battle is for the last of the podium places, but there's battles everywhere on the track, and it just shows the skill of these drivers that it's not going to let up anytime soon. It's anyone's game, and we still have all 19 drivers in the field here. Nobody has DNF'd yet.
Exactly. So this is the, I would say, the best information that we received today, and I hope it will finish. It will goes like this until the finish. But for now, I will say the closest battle between drivers is between Pins and Crash. I'm sorry, Pins and Senior Piotras. Pins is holding on the back of Senior Piotras. Now Pins will have DRS, so have also another opportunity to fight between Senior Piotras. He will try to going inside and overtake Senior Piotras. Senior Piotras is need to step back a moment, but if he will get a better exit of this turn, he might attack Pins. The main important thing right now is to be as close as he is possible to sit on the back of the Pins and going in his slipstream just to hold the DRS. But for now we see that Senior Piotras is struggling a little bit in the S section, in the sector 1, and hopefully he will hold the DRS. He got it, so he can get a little bit closer to the Pins, but I think this fight isn't over yet.
This fight is far from over. We're only 8 laps of 25 in, and I'm going to say up until lap 24, we're probably going to be talking about this same fight. Pit strategy is going to start to come into play as well as we watch everyone go through here. Vixie is the next driver we need to talk about here. Vixie only 0.2 of a second behind Bimolino. He is going to have DRS as they come through DRS zone here going into turn 13, and as they come around, easy pass for Vixie here, and not so easy, I'm sorry, as they're side by side coming around out of turn 13 into 14, 15, 16. Bimolino has yet to let go of that position, so as they're side by side, Bimolino's still not letting go of the position and going just a little bit wide there coming through turn 16, so he has to let go. But very close to the next DRS zone is going to be an opportunity here. Senor also with the opportunity down the main straight here on Pink as they come through, and DRS open, an easy pass for him. Now can he build the gap and get away from him to try to hold on to P3?
Currently we're seeing only the 3 fights between the drivers right now. It's Kubo versus Yankees, and Kubo is overtaking, going inside of the Yankees. Yankees is going with wheel to wheel, going very wide, but Kubo have a better exit of this turn, so he's still in front, but the Yankees have DRS right now, so he can try to attack one more time. Also, now is Kubo time to fight back with the Yankees. Yeah, he might maybe miss the breaking point right now, and the Yankees have advantage about that over 1 second. Another battle that you said is still Pins versus Senior Piotras, and I will say this is mostly the main competitive fight right now. Also Official is trying to catch Kubo, and I will say these 2 drivers right now are the closest with the fights with each other.
Nobody is letting up at the moment. All of these battles across the field are great to watch. Of course, Senor and Pink, as you said, the big battle right now is it's the last of the podium places, so it really is a case of who can get past there, and Pink not being able to use DRS into turn 27 to get past. He did close the gap though, but the gap is half a second. So as they go down the main straight, I wonder if Pink is going to be able to get the pass. And again, when are these drivers going to decide to pit? That is my question. And Crash picking up 5 seconds for speeding in the pit lane here. So Penalties again starting to play points as well. Overcut and undercuts, I think, are going to start really pushing things through and helping these drivers gain gaps and gain position. As we watch here as Fabic is into the pits as well. Drivers going on to mediums here, lap 10. Toby's on hard tires, and so is BIS 2000. So interesting alternate strategy coming in from them. I don't know that hards would be my personal opinion, but the drivers know better than me, and maybe that will give them a little bit more near the end of the Grand Prix. Nothing to lose, nothing to gain, of course, so it really is just a case of throw it to the wall, see if it sticks, and then go from there. Crash trying to get past FOXXXES now here on a fresh set of mediums against 9-lap-old softs. This should be a really, really easy pass for Crash, and Crash getting himself back near the top of the field. The 4 drivers in front of him have yet to pit, so Crash at the moment looks like he's technically in the lead of this Grand Prix.
Maybe you missed that, but pins have a 3 seconds time penalty, so it's a much better position for the senior Piotrs right now, and he can have like a fresh head that he don't have to push that much, because even though if he will hold pins just in front of him, that will be a very easy jump in front. But we're seeing that Senior Piotr is deciding to go right now to the pit lane, also Sanguinior, so Pin's still holding second place right now, but he have in front of him Puchacz that have almost 8.6 seconds time gap, so it's a huge difference. But right now Crash is going to the main straight, and that maybe he will be able to jump in front of the senior Piotras. We will see, and I guess not. He still need to fight, but he is much closer than he was before. Also, we need to talk about FOXXXES, because FOXXXES already have gained 10 positions. That's huge.
Amazing from FOXXXES there. Of course, FOXXXES yet to pit. Same with Puchacz and Pink yet to pit. Kushor yet to pit too as we come through. So lots of these drivers looking very, very strong, even though they're on older tires. But as these new tires start to wear in and start to hit their stride, it will be harder for these drivers as they go. And I would guess everyone except for Kushor, who has yet to pit, which is just Puchacz, Pink, and FOXXXES, will probably be looking to pit sometime soon as they go through. Kushor losing 2 places coming around turn 13 there to Fabic and Yankees, who are both on newer tires, of course. So Kushor on those 10-lap-old mediums. Of course, the mediums are going to go a lot longer than the softs, but possibly starting to find himself caught out here as we go through, and things have started to calm down a bit, Syntax. I don't know if you've noticed that or not, but as we're going through these pit stops, things are really calming down and gaps are really starting to open up here.
Exactly. The closest fight I can see is already Yankees on Fabic right now with their DRS, and he will maybe try to catch him inside on the last turn. He's going so fast, and probably this overtake might have place. And we're seeing that the Young is going beautiful inside on this turn, going in front of the Fabic. Also in front of him is Vixie. Maybe somehow he will try to attack, but Fabic also trying to attack Young. And we're seeing that the DRS zones are very crucial for every single driver, because about them they can earn a lot about DRS, and I will say that it might be the main thing just to hold behind the driver because of the DRS, of course.
One of the trends I've noticed is the drivers are running extremely wide going through turns 7, 8, and 9. They can't seem to stay in track limits there, and I don't know if that is something they're doing on purpose or if it's just they're trying to carry too much speed going through. But Syntax, you can probably tell me as a driver, like, is that just something that you're going to have to fight as they go through?
Probably if you will have a much used your tires, it might be difficult, but you still should try to hold into the track limits, because about that you can already see that a lot of drivers have some time penalties, and as I said before, it might be very, very crucial at the end of the race. But now I just want to also talk about top 3 currently, because Pins just decided to go to the pit, and we can already see how much he will lose about that. He already fall down about 2 places, maybe more, but right now, of course, that Puchacz is looking the strongest driver right now, with over 1 second in front of the Sanquinier, but Sanquinier is pushing and trying to attack very hardly. He don't have probably DRS right now, so he still need to hold the pace of the Puchacz, but we know that it might be a little bit difficult. Puchacz somehow reminds me of the Żelazny from the Split 1 last season, because he was also trying to gain as much as possible the time gap between the drivers, but not right now. Sanquinier didn't hang his fate in this race, and he will try to fight until the end. We still have 12 laps until the end of the race.
Just crossing the halfway point here, and as you said, Sanquinier is not going to let go here of Puchacz as we go through, and just barely out of DRS range, so it really is going to be very, very tight between these drivers as we go through. 12 laps to go, and I'm guessing this is not the last that we're seeing. Crash and Senor still battling it out as well. Crash gets past there on Senor, but Senor will have DRS, but he's also going to have Pink to worry about behind him. As they go around here onto the main straight, is Crash going to lose 2 positions at once? I said things had calmed down for all of about 3 laps, so now it's going to be back and forth the rest of the Grand Prix. Who can we keep up with? Who can we not? Crash is going defensive on the inside, and he's able to hold on to that P3 at least through the main straight. Now, of course, if he can try to build a gap here through sector 1, he may be able to keep on this and go through another lap. Vixie now deciding to go on to the pits. Next to last driver who hasn't pit yet there. Vixie in, and Fishu on 11 lap all mediums here, so Fishu is going to have to pit soon. Velix on 10 lap old softs. Pafixian on 9 lap old mediums, so those drivers are going to have to make another pit stop before the end of the race as we continue to watch through here and watch these drivers battle. It's far from over, this race, but Syntax, it's just been exciting to watch all the way through, and Sanquinier is finally closing that gap to under a second to Puchacz.
Exactly, maybe we will see something interesting, but it might be a little bit problematic for the Sanquinier, because in front of the Puchacz is Joker that will give him DRS, so also he have opportunity to run over and gain more time in front of the Sanquinier, of course only with this one straight, but anyway it would help a lot for the Puchacz, and we cannot forget that those 2 drivers definitely have a beautiful pace, and probably they will be overlapping some drivers, but I don't know what happened, and we have a virtual safety car. No, we have a safety car. Do you know what happened?
It looks like Pink lost it in turn 27. We'll see here as Fabic is getting ready to come through there. We'll see if we can see Pink lost it into turn 27. Looks like he outbroke himself, so that is going to be our first DNF here, and safety car is out. We'll see what drivers take advantage of this. Crash going into the pits, and his teammate coming in right behind him there. Youngies, Crash serving a penalty though, so a double stack here from Haas, depending on how fast Crash can get out. Youngies may lose out. 10 laps, and Crash is going to go on to a fresh set of softs. Youngies is in as well. Youngies is going to lose a little bit of time there from the double stack. Youngies going on to a set of softs. Still a good pit stop there. And of course, you're going to have Fishu and Bimolino and Bis 2000 into the pits. All drivers pitting in. Velix into the pits. Pafixian into the pits. Kushor into the pits. So lots of drivers. Very, very, very busy pit lane here. And all of the drivers opting into, it looks like, soft tires from what I can see. Couple of medium tires going on, but this turns the race on its head, Syntax. Safety car on lap 15, and this is basically going to reset the field. And if you're somebody like Crash or Fabic, the 28 seconds that they had to the top 3, they're going to be very, very happy for this safety car because it's going to gap everything up. Bimolino, 20-second gap. Toby, 35 seconds the gap back to the driver in front of him. So this is really going to reset the field and give these drivers a good opportunity here.
Exactly. Also, I will say that this free pit, for example, for Yankees and especially Fishu, is very important. Why? Because Fishu probably have a problem with the wing in beginning of the race. That's why he were driving on the medium compound. And I would say that if he will manage to get a very good pace, I think he might jump over a little bit, maybe gain some position. we don't know, of course. We still have time, 9 laps to go, and then we will see what will happen. But right now, nothing's changed. I'm so sorry about the pink. It was looking very good, and almost every single driver would have opportunity to finish this race. And I will say it was much cleaner than we had week before, because probably last time we lost 5, 6 drivers, right?
We lost 5 drivers in the race and had 3 that did not start. So lots of chaos from last race, and thankfully this has been a cleaner race so far. I believe Pink, I didn't see the exact incident. From what I could tell though, whenever Fabic drove by, it looks like that Pink just kind of outbroke himself there. I didn't see any signs of any contact between him and another driver. Of course, if there was some, I'm sure that we're going to find out about it later. So again, steward's job, not ours.
Exactly. And as you said before, I'm quite happy that I don't have to do that. One thing that I will change in this game is to being able to unlap, for example, myself, right? For example, you're on the 18th place, and for example, I don't know, 5, 6 cars lapped you over, and there should be an opportunity, because, for example, for the last place right now, you don't have any chance to fight back for the place, I will say.
Absolutely, and I believe that is something they're adding into F122, which I don't know if I would presume next season, season 6 here of FRL, is going to be on F122, isn't it? I would hope.
Exactly.
Admin, if it's not on F122, I believe every driver will riot. So consider this your warning from your commentator.
Yeah, and I think we have time, and we can speculate about F1 2020. 22, sorry, because it changed the name. And from the information that I had, I was able to saw that on the Marcel Kiefer video, that with a different weather that you have. For example, beginning of the race will be raining, but in the half of the race there can be a thunderstorm. And about the situation with the weather, might get VSC, for example, because there's too much water on the track, and all the drivers need to slow down a little bit just to avoid any contact and any dangerous situation. So I think it might be a very, very interesting add-on to the F1 2022.
My favorite thing coming into F122 is going to be VR. So native VR support is one of those things. In my free time, I do GT racing and ACC with an ACC league, and for me, one of the biggest things with that is that I have the VR support, and it makes it more immersive and makes it where it's easier for me to race. And I think we're going to see a lot of drivers switch over to VR racing next season, more than likely, because it does add that little bit more immersion and will give them a little bit more here. And for me personally, that's what I'm most excited about with F122. Of course, all the new safety car features, all of the different things they're adding in are going to make it a lot different. I hope they add some new stuff with the broadcasting just for a little bit more immersion and just a little bit of improvement there. But only one way to find out here. And then Pafixi and Velix, look back in P11, they're kind of going back and forth with each other passing. Of course, we're under safety car here, so but safety car is in this lap. So, Syntex, we're going to have an 8-lap shootout here to the end, 7-lap shootout here to the end, I'm sorry.
It's hard to predict how it could go after the restart, and I hope we will see some beautiful fights and not a carnage on the T1, because it might be so close to do that. But there's just a lot of things more that I will say about the F122, but for now we're going back with the restart. We're seeing that Puchacz is still holding on the whole grid, but right now he just turned on the full throttle, and behind him is Sankuyo trying to push, and probably he will try to attack going inside, but probably Puchacz will, with the beautiful defense, wouldn't allow to do that with the Sankuyo. Still we have a clean fight between almost a 5 drivers, between Fishu, Nekshak, Bemolinho, Pefixian. It's so close to each other, and it might happen anything right now. But Crash just lose his position. Fishu probably also spun. I don't know what's happened, but he already lose a few places. He was on the P9, so beautiful dreams about fighting for the points is still not over. He still have opportunity to fight because he's still so close. Something happened to Toby, and he DNF'd, so we have another driver that wouldn't finish this race, and we have yellow flag right now.
Yellow flag out, but no safety car. It looks like Toby spun there, coming through turns. What turn was that? I believe that's turn 9, if I can tell. And there goes Yankees out of the session. Massive wreck there, coming into turn 9. No, not turn 9, sorry. Turn 23 there. Massive wreck there from Youngies. So 2 drivers DNFing within the span of 1 lap, and we are back under safety car again.
So we can back with the F122.
Back to talking about F122 for a couple laps, Syntax.
Exactly.
But
yeah. I want to say one more thing about that you said about the VR. I think you need to buy a new wheel because of the porpoising. It will give you definitely a more immersive experience.
If you don't have a motion simulator, I recommend buying one for the best experience. Back to this race, though. I don't know what happened to Youngies there. I'm hoping there was no contact, but that was brutal. Whatever just happened to him.
Yeah. Even though second safety car, we know how long it is. We seeing on the track how far Fishu be probably, because BC is in the middle of the grid. So Fishu, Crash, and Kubo are behind the driver, so they need to push. So maybe we will have a little bit shorter safety car. Is it possible?
I would love it if it was, but of course that is not our decision. It'd be nice, though, as we watch the drivers come through. I think the big thing to note is our top 3 is basically who we thought it was going to be. It's Puchacz, Sanquinor, and Senor. Fabic in P4, Ofsky in P5, Crash down again into P14. I believe he pit again, though, so that's... Crash was way up in the field. I wonder if he got damaged and just had to pit again. Unfortunate for the Haas driver, who was so far up the field starting out. Just a little bit of contact there with Fabic in the beginning. I believe it was Fabic that knocked him back, and it's just cost him again, unfortunately, contact there during that race restart.
I have quick information about pins, and as far as I know, probably there was a brake check from the crash. We don't know anything yet about it. It was sent to the stewards, so they will have another job to do at the evening today. But anyway, I'm pretty interesting how things will go so far, because Oski right now have a big chance to stand on the podium, because in front of him is Fabek and Senior Piotras that currently have a time penalty, and I can check how much is it for Fabek. It's 8 seconds, and for Senior Piotras is 3 seconds. So Ovski have a big chance to stand on the podium if he will somehow manage to stay those 5 laps until the end, just behind the Fabek.
All Ovski's got to do is just hold on and be consistent. I talked about it countless times through qualifying. I'm going to talk about it again right now. It's all about consistency. You can put in one solid lap, and sometimes you need that solid lap. But for Ofsky right now, he just needs to finish where he's at, and he would be fine. Keep the gap to Fabic and Senor down, and he will be on the podium here, which would be awesome for Ofsky. Ofsky last week finishing in He didn't finish. He was one of our drivers that DNF'd. So for him, it will be a major case of just holding on, because it would be awesome for him to put himself on podium here. Of course, he would be taking the podium away from his teammate, but you win some, you lose some. That is racing.
And it's still hold in the family, so I will say Mercedes still have a better situation, because for now both of the drivers have a very high place on the grid, but right behind them we have two Alpines, Vixie and Pefixian. And also, I'm so glad that we can see that Nexiak jump into the 8th place. After beginning of the race, he fell down so low and he was over almost on the end of the grid. So I'm quite happy that he somehow managed to get back and try to fight with others. I would check how many positions every single driver have earned, and we can already see that FOXXXES and Pefixian 11 and 12 places. Pefixian from the back of the grid jumped into the 7th, so it's a pretty good recovery. But biggest, of course, I'm not trying to insult someone, but biggest loser right now is Crash, losing 12 positions.
Ash was looking so strong in qualifying, and it's very unfortunate to see through. Most of the drivers have done 2 stops here, and Crash, of course, is on the fresh soft tires, so for him at this point, it is going to be a case of trying to recover points. We're back underway, and Pujols not hesitating to go through here as we look through. Senor back through. We are green flag now. Everybody's going to pass. Look at the Alpines. They're going to try to gain up here on FOXXXES as best they can. One Alpine to the inside, one Alpine to the outside. Opting out of that, though, FOXXXES goes a little bit deep into the braking zone there. A little bit of a slide there from Pefixian from the rear end, and you can see Vixie right there beside, trying to stick a front wing through. Not close enough, though, for that pass. Teammates are side by side here. Nexiak in P8 trying to get into the mix as well, and you can see just how close he is to Pefixian, Vixie, and FOXXXES, trying to look for any opportunity to get a pass done. Pefixian a little inconsistent there going through, just 5 laps to go, and unfortunate for him, that could cost him big time as we go through. Pefixian needs to just tighten it up a little bit as we go around. Lots of grip issues we're seeing from him. And as we come through here, Sequador is only half a second back on Pujols, still trying to hold on to it. So cleaner restart than what we had last time. I think the drivers are just trying to make it to the end here, Syntax. 4 laps to go as we watch here.
And we're seeing that Sam Quinor is still trying to catch Pujols, but he is a little bit quicker than him, but still holding in the DRS zone. Of course, as you always saying, next 3 laps without the DRS, so probably I will say most important lap will be the last lap that will everything figure it out. But for now, as you said before, Pefixian, Nexiak, Vixie is fighting so hard with the FOXXXES, because FOXXXES have a chance to hold his of course podium right now, but he cannot lose any more time than 3 seconds, because we know that it wouldn't stand on the podium for the FOXXXES. Right now Fabek losing over 3 seconds in just in back, but beautiful attack from the Pefixian, and he crashed. Oh my lord, what just happened? What a carnage! And some things never changes, and once again we have Pefixian included in that, and he begin the whole situation right now, and it's, I have no words. Just why? There was no place. He'll lose the grip and he crashed.
Oh no! I don't.
Oh no! Pefixian, why?
What just happened? What just happened? What just happened, Syntax? What? A car was upside down on the wall.
Yeah, I saw that. Incredible. I'm really begging every single driver of Split 1 and Split 2, for once with the Bradley, we would wanted to see a drive, a race without any safety cars, virtual safety cars, any DNFs. We just want to see how much you are battling without any contact, and everything will be clean. And I can even pay for that, really.
Syntax, I'm doing something that I don't normally do. We're going to do an instant replay here of that crash because I need to understand what just happened. Oh, this is not normal for me to do, but I have to understand what just happened.
Why are you spectating that?
I was absolutely watching that. I'm showing it on stream now. This is very out of character for us, but I have to see that crash again. Oh, I did not get it in a clip. Oh no, please tell me someone clipped that.
You can go a little bit earlier so you have them. Never mind. Even though a carnage. A carnage. Okay, Bartosz just make a clip so you can check that from Bartosz.
Oh, Bartosz, thank you. What was this?
Anyway, a beautiful name for the clip.
Oh.
Oh my lord. No.
Oh.
No.
That was oh.
No.
Oh my gosh, a little bit of contact there between Ofsky and Pafixian, and it sends them through, and that took out
I
Vixie.
hope
That
the
took
driver is
so many
okay.
drivers with them.
But look,
Oh my
someone was
goodness.
almost flying. I don't know who was that. Just can you go back a little bit?
That was the biggest wreck I've ever seen in F1 2021.
Someone overflying there. I don't know what's happened. Ah,
Oh my goodness.
Bradley.
That was Pafixian that went flying there.
Yeah, and one thing that we can say is that we cannot feel that we are boring, right? In every single race.
It's never over. Are we back underway here, Syntax?
Can you hear me, Bradley? Because I'm speaking to you.
I can hear you. I can hear you now. Yes.
Okay.
We're back
Because
underway here. Lap
I was
24 of
speaking
25.
whole time. Anyway, we have restart.
Oh, restart. We're back underway here. And I hope the drivers are a little more timid now. We just need to survive. And never mind. There goes Velix spinning in the back. I don't know what happened there, but Velix back down into P13. Sinquin were trying to chase down Puhash. And wow. Okay, 2 laps to go, Syntax. Let's reel it in here. You can see the Aston Martins trying to fight here with Kushor. A little bit of a dive there on the inside there. A little bit of contact. Kushor into the wall on the inside. Now he's going to be fighting here with Fishu as they go around. And this is a massive fight going in for what I believe is going to be P6 coming through around turn 16. And that is going to be, I believe, BIS 2000 spinning. And there goes Kushor spinning out of turn 16. Unfortunate for him, Kubo and Bimolino swapping positions here. Fishu trying to fight in, and no DRS for the rest of the race either, Syntax. So this is all going to be done on pure pace here as we watch Fishu trying to chase down Bimolino here and trying to fight for the last of the podium places here. Of course, Sanquinor is going to try to have that pass as well.
The situation just flipped over like 180%. So we're seeing now Nexiak fighting with the Senior Piotras with the possibility standing on the podium right now, and that will be the biggest recovery in the FRL history. Fall down to the almost last place and somehow figure it out to stand back on the podium right now. But there's so much happening right now on the track. Fishu is still trying to catch Bemolino. He's sitting over over his spoiler, I would say, just right on his back. Another 3 seconds of the penalty for Bemolino Gaucho, so it might be a very important thing. Just for now, it's 3 seconds, so Fishu really need to push very hard, going outside, trying to overtake him, who will have better exit. There was no contact, and Fishu with a beautiful overtake on this corner, standing in front of the Bemolino.
Amazing pass there from Fisher to bring himself up into P7. Of course, Puhash, though, in P1 coming down through what is going to be turns 24, 25, coming into 26 here. And for Puhash, it is all about just holding on here. Of course, Sanquinor has penalties. Senor has penalties. This is all about the battle for P3, P2 at the moment here. Next Shack is in a great place, and as Puhash comes around here, Puhash coming through. Sanquinor, of course, right beside him. It doesn't matter if Sanquinor gets past him here because this is going to be P1 here for Puhash. Puhash winning round 2 here in split 2. Sanquinor coming across P2. Next shot does get P3 as penalties are applied for Senor. Kubo goes up into P5 and Fabik continuing to drop down. Penalties applying here. Offski into P6. Fishu P7. Bemolino P8. Fabik P9. Crash all the way up into P10 as penalties are applied.
No!
Joker. Crash, just 20-second time penalty for an unserved drive-through. So Crash is going to drop massively here as we go through. I thought Crash was able to recover at least some points out of it. Unfortunately, he is not. BIS 2000 P15 and Kushor will be the last driver to cross here. And Kushor is going to finish P13. But it's all about Puhash today. Puhash setting up a second top step of the podium, off-ski driver of the day after some great recoveries. But Puhash back-to-back P1s here, and Sanquinor back-to-back P2s.
This is incredible consistency from these two drivers, and the pretend fight for the rest of the season going to be a really interesting. And probably you will ask me a question: what do I want to bring with me to my race? And I will say definitely not making a FOXXXES thing.
Please do not do a Pafixian thing, but if you do, I will just let you know that it will make for some great commentary. And as we look here, lots of track limit penalties. I don't know if I can actually get all of them in, but I mean, more track limit penalties than I know what to do with here. All of the drivers, just multiple track limit warnings. Some collisions through, of course, as well to look at. I mean, that crash is going to be the talk of the season. I don't know. I don't know. Wow.
We need to say that it was a really crazy race, isn't it?
That was an amazing race. I don't know if anything can top it here.
We have almost everything in this race.
Wow. That was I don't know if FRL could top that, to be honest. I don't know how we're going to top that this season. Season 5 has been some of the most exciting racing we've had so far. It's some of the cleanest, some of the most competitive. Wow, that was
We need to bring a special reward at the end of the season with the biggest crash, and now we have the pretendant to this reward.
Just wow. Syntax, I know you need to get ready for your race, so I'm going to go ahead and let you go here. Good luck here in Split 1. Of course, last week, not the best week for you, of course. Finishing P13, just outside of points. So this week, I am rooting for you, just so you know. I'm always rooting for you every week, but this week, I feel it's going to be your race.
I changed from the medium traction to off traction, so it might be difficult, but I will try to get my best today.
Good luck, Syntax. We will see you on the track here in Split 1. And for everybody, just hang out with us. We've got about 15 minutes until Split 1 goes live, and we will be right back with you with what I will say might be a less eventful race, might be a more eventful. The only way you're going to know is to hang around until Split 1 starts. looks like Noda is going to be your winner of this Portuguese Grand Prix. Is your champion. JJ splits the middle, gets past both drivers. All right. I had a sandwich. I had some Cheetos. Now I'm ready to party. Welcome back, everybody, here to Split 1 here in round 2 here in Saudi Arabia, Jeddah, whatever you'd like to call it. And I am quite excited for one. After what was an eventful Split 2 race. And if you missed that, basically FOXXXES pulled a Nico Rosberg and ended up upside down. Both amazing and scary to watch at the same time. But it shows just how eventful this track can be as the drivers go through here. And of course, 25 laps of action about to come at you here as the drivers go around. So anything can happen, as Syntax loves to say. And as we saw, anything did happen. Whole time we saw in Split 2 was around a 1:28, so I'm expecting a similar time here in Split 1 as we go through, and it's going to be very, very fun to watch and see where these drivers land here. John Meister is going to be the first driver to set a lap, so we're going to stick around and watch him as he goes through his lap here. So, and Bartosz already retired out because Bartosz picked up a quali ban after round 1. So Bartosz will be not participating and starting from the back of the field. So he's basically going to be playing last to first as we go through. There goes one Alfa Romeo. Going around the other Alfa Romeo here, of course, Wasserschwein staying out of the way of his teammate John Meister. John Meister is going to be the first one to put in a lap time. As we come around, what time is John Meister going to put in is the big question of the day. Where is he going to start us out here on this qualifying session? A 127.9. Very, very strong time from John Meister there as he goes all the way through. But of course, the Ferrari boys are going to be the ones to watch here as we go around. JJ coming through, and Jack coming through as well. Debe putting in a time here. JJ goes provisional pole with a 127.5. Where's his teammate Jack going to come at? As Jack is currently coming around turns 23, 24. Barthez a 128.2. Maddie 128.9. Spaghetti Mafia 128.7. So, and Jack is going to actually abort this lap and go into the pits here. You can see he was way behind. I'm guessing something happened to him there. Gavron is coming around. He has invalidated this first lap already, so looks like it's going to be a session from him. Graxent coming around here, a very strong driver, very well-known name here in FRL. And as Graxent comes around, we'll see what time Graxent puts in. Graxent is going to be coming around here, and we will see as he comes around turn 27. He doesn't max Verstappen it. Very good job from him, though. Very, very close to the wall, leaving nothing out there, trying to set a time very early here. And he comes around with a 128.1, good enough for P4. So JJ, a 127.5. I know him and Jack have been practicing this track a lot, so looking very, very strong coming from them. Wasserschwein into the pits there, aborting his lap. Choppa after that heartbreaking split 2 race here in split 1, and we'll see exactly what time he can put in. Noda showing up at a Mercedes. I don't think that's right. There we go. Now we're seeing Noda. Noda coming around and validated his lap. And Syntax yet to go out. Of course, my co-commentator here yet to put a time in. All drivers except for Debe have been out on soft tires. Debe, of course, going out on the mediums. Matouche is out on a set of mediums himself, and he's going extremely slow. I can't tell if there was damage or if he's just trying to stay out of the way of the Mercedes there. I believe that is Kubo coming through, and I believe that's what he was doing. Kubo, of course, going slow, though, so Kubo is on his in lap. All drivers have done an out lap, I believe, that are going to do one, and, of course, some of those drivers having to pit in and abort those first laps. Jeddah, a track that shows big risk, big rewards. So if you're willing to really give it your all, you can see some massive benefits. But of course, as we saw with Max Verstappen in 2021, if you are not careful, you can lose everything from one little mistake. And this is Tazo coming around. Tazo's going to be on a flying lap now. We'll jump on board with him and enjoy this as he comes through. Coming around here, that is going to be turn 4 into 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, turns 10, 11, 12. And of course, this track is one of those that some of these turns don't feel like turns as you come through. And Tazo just barely staying inside track limits there as he came around what is going to be turn 16 and 17. Now he's going through turn 18, 19, 20. Purple middle sector for Tazo. So Tazo out for blood. Of course, Mercedes last season Constructors champion. So Tazo up into P4, looking for that glory as he comes around, looking really, really strong there from him. And Debe, of course, out on a lap as well at the moment, just starting his lap as he goes through yellow flag in sector 2. I don't see exactly what that's for. And Debe looking really strong here. Debe, of course, looking to chase down a victory here in FRL and looking to get very, very strong here throughout the season. Of course, a very impressive driver. Mercedes, the defending constructors, so Debe really looking to bring his all in for this race. But of course, the talk of the season has been Ferrari, as we watch Ferrari showing very, very great abilities here in FRL. Of course, Jack finishing P1 last week, Tazo P2, Matouche P3, Buchik 4, Spaghetti Mafia, who was the crowd favorite for Split 2, and everybody loves Spaghetti Mafia, finishing top 5, of course. So be really interesting to see exactly where Spaghetti Mafia ends up at for this season. I feel like it is worth talking about Spaghetti Mafia last season, finishing P2 to finishing P2 in the driver's standings to Wasserschwein, and of course both of them are here in Split 1. So for these drivers, it really is going to be a rematch for them to see who can finish higher. And that is a massive crash from Matty there in... Oh, that is massive for him there in turn 8, turn 9. And that is going to be Matty's qualifying session completely over. Jack currently out on a flying lap here, going through the third sector, coming in for turn 27. He has a car right there ahead of him, though. Who is that? It looks like that is going to be one of the AlphaTauris, staying well out of his way there. And Jack into the pits yet again there. P2, Ferrari 1-2 at the moment. And as I said earlier, Ferrari have been practicing this track a lot, so it doesn't surprise me a bit that they're currently 1-2. Graxon, of course, purple middle sector, though, currently, so he is coming around here looking really, really strong. As he's going to come through, we'll see what time Graxon can put in here. 6.5 minutes left to go in your qualifying session here in Split 1. And Graxon is going to come through turn 27 again, going as wide as he possibly can. DRS open. Graxon's teammate Ignis is right behind him. Of course, Ignis currently P3. Graxon only going good enough for P5. Possibly not a good track for Graxon here. And it looks like that is Choppa coming around P18 at the moment, invalidating his lap as well. So not able to put in a good time there. Maybe a little bit of the shakes there from that Split 2 race. Catching up to him here. Noda coming around P19 at the moment, yet to set a time, and Noda looking really strong. Coming through here into the first sector with a 30.69. Coming around turn 13. Still looking really good. Noda, we know Noda is a strong driver, so it's going to be fun to watch and see where Noda puts himself in here as we go through. Noda coming around here. Still very impressive as he comes through turns 19, 20, 21. And now he comes across with a 58.2 through the middle sector. Not purple, but still looking really, really good so far as he comes around here. And he is going to be coming around turns 25, 26, and 27. Noda looking to put his first time on the board here with only 5 minutes left. So as he comes around turn 27, going really wide there, just keeping it in as close as he can. And Noda with a 128.0, good enough for P8. So I would say Noda will probably pit and then go for another lap here as well as we go through. Gavron coming around here, first sector. I believe he is finally looking to put a time in for himself. 4.5 minutes left to go, and of course it's a minute 30 lap, so this might be his only lap. I think if he does have time for another lap, it's going to be only just. As he comes through Syntex and P9, lots of drivers currently out on flying laps at the moment. As they go around there, you can see the McLaren of, I believe that was Noda, staying out of the way of Gavron as he comes around here. Purple through the back middle sector, so Gavron really trying to put his foot down here, trying as hard as he can as he comes around turns 25, 26, and 27 as he's coming through third sector. Going to come in, brakes inside here as he comes around. Is he going to be able to put in another purple sector as he comes through final line? He is going to be just a little bit back here, I believe, but still good enough for P3. So Haas currently sitting P3, P5 split together here. Lots of drivers back out here. Debe, of course, out on a lap as well. JJ and Jack are on out laps. We'll keep our eyes on them. Ignis has invalidated this lap. So as he goes around, John Meister, P7 coming around final sector here. Jack has just started his flying lap. It looks like JJ is about halfway through. John Meister, 127.5, purple through the final sector. So John Meister really putting his foot down here. The Ferraris are going to have to step it up here. 2 minutes, 40 seconds left to go. Drivers out on what will be their final push laps here. Ignis invalidating his lap. We'll jump on board with Jack. Jack purple through the first sector, coming around turn 13. And look at the snap through he has as he's holding on to his car coming around. Jack, purple middle sector, up 2.5 tenths, coming through, coming around, looking really, really strong. Of course, 2 minutes left to go here in qualifying, so this will be his last push lap. He'll just have to put in a strong time and hope nobody behind him gets a better time in as we come through here. Turn 27, he's got a Mercedes in front of him that went a little bit wild, but still looking really good as he comes around here. And Jack with the final lap coming in. Of course, he is going to put in a 127.4, so going up. Is he going to be up enough to hold on to provisional pole, though? I am not sure. JJ invalidating his lap, so JJ is going to have to hurry up and get around, recharge his battery, get a hold of his tires, and then go back through for another lap. Lots of drivers doing multiple push laps here at the end. Spaghetti Mafia invalidating his lap. Spaghetti Mafia down in P16. Not a great qualifying for him. Matouche retiring from the session here, so Matouche calling it a day. Choppa coming around, trying to finally set a lap here as he comes around turns 15, 16, 17. Barthez retiring from the session, the other McLaren out. So McLaren reserving in P10, P11. Choppa, purple middle sector, looking really, really good. Debe retiring from the session as well. And Choppa has invalidated his lap, so it is going to be game over for him. Looks like lots of drivers are calling it here. JJ purple in the first sector, looking fantastic for him as we go through and as we come around. Kubo out of nowhere with a 127.3. I don't know where Kubo came from, but hello, Kubo. Welcome to FRL. So Jack's 127.46 is not going to stand here for the fastest time, and JJ is going to really need to pick it up here. He's purple through the middle sector, so JJ really is picking it up, and this could be great for him. Lots of drivers already out of qualifying. JJ cutting the track a little bit there, but not called for track limits, so it's all fair and valid as JJ's coming through, pushing as hard as he can. And as JJ is coming around the final corner here, is he going to be able to set in a stronger time? It looks like he is coming across 127.4. improves a little bit, but not good enough. So he is going to be locked into P3 here. And it looks like last drivers are coming through setting laps here. Bernard has invalidated his lap, so that is going to be all for him. Graxent is coming around here. So Graxent is going to be putting in, and Graxent hits the wall a little bit there. So for Graxent, unfortunately, that could cost him big time. And Graxent's going to come across good enough for P5. We're going to watch Syntax coming through here. Syntax is coming around the final corner. He's got Wasserschwein in front of him coming around turn 27 as well. So as Graxent, or as Wasserschwein comes around, we'll see what Wasserschwein puts in. And then Syntax right behind him will be putting in a final lap as well. So, and you can see Wasserschwein coming across here. Wasserschwein is going to put himself good enough for P11. Syntax is going to come around. What time can Syntax put in? Syntax is good enough for P10. And then the last driver here, Kubo, coming around. So Kubo taking his time getting around the field as Kubo has locked himself into pole position here with a massive time at the very end. Very impressive time coming in from Kubo there. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be your qualifying here in split one over. So it goes Kubo, Jack, JJ, John Meister, Graxent, Tazo, Gadron, Ignis, Bernard, Syntax, Barthez, Wasserschwein, Noda, Debe, Matouche, Spaghetti, Matty, Buchik, Bartosz, and Chapa. So a very, very shook up grid there. Of course, Buchik, Bartosz, and Chapa not putting in times. So that is going to be all she wrote for them. And all she wrote here in this qualifying session here in split one. Be right back with you here in just a second for the race. So here we go for the formation lap here. You've got Kubo, Jack, JJ, John Meister, Graxent, Tazo, Gavron, Ignis, Bernard, Syntax, Barthez, Wasserschwein, Noda, David, Matouche, Spaghetti, Matty, Buchik, Bartosz, and Chapa. And I will tell you, it is always a tongue twister and a practice in pronunciation every time I have to say those names. But as we look here, top 10 all on soft tires. Barthez on mediums. Debe, Matouche, Spaghetti, and Chapa all going on medium tires. The remainders are going to be on softs. And as we talked about in split 2, the strategy there is very, very different and very interesting. It's always great to see the strategy come through. And of course, we saw those late race safety cars change everyone's strategy there in split 2. So here in split 1, I'm sure they will be looking for any sort of a late race safety car or anything to come through, and I guarantee you some of these drivers will hold on to it and go through. And predictive pit stop strategy powered by AWS. Soft to medium's the fastest strategy, but an alternate is soft to hards, and we saw lots of drivers do lots of things, so I don't think that pit stop strategy is really going to matter when it comes down to it. I'll tell you what does matter, the fact that Kubo is up into P1. Jack and JJ are going to be looking to chase each other down here and chase down Kuba, as the Ferraris know turn one is going to be where it goes, and they're going to need to go through. Syntax is going to be looking to retain his P10 position here and stay up into the points here. Debe is going to be looking to get up into the points and get a strong finish. Of course, Debe last week not starting the race, so Debe is going to be looking to really bring it through. And last drivers forming up on the grid here, looking for Choppa to come around. Last driver to set up, and Choppa is going to be in place. So now we're going to be set up here for our race start. Who of these three is going to have the best start? And it's going to be 5 red lights, and we are underway here for the race. And looking through, it looks like a great start coming away from the Ferraris. JJ a little bit close there with John Meister. John Meister trying to have the run. Not close enough for the run. This is not the time for the pit stop strategy, AWS. Go away. And as the drivers come through, you can see a little bit of carnage there in the midfield, but as they come around, it looks like things are pretty clean there. Tazo and Graxon trying to battle it out as they come around through turns 6, 7, 8, 9. And big contact there, and Graxon spinning big time there through turns 8 and 9. So Graxon unfortunately dropping all the way back into P20 after that little bit of contact there. Things still looking really strong from the drivers. Jack very close to Kuba, not letting a gap form there. Just a couple tenths separating every driver, and this is going to be a very long, close race here. We're watching Wasserschwein, who is right beside Syntax here, trying to get the run. Syntax up into P8 after that great start coming from him, and he's going to be coming around here. Is Wasserschwein going to be able to get a pass done? It's hard to tell here, but of course Gavron is right in front of Syntax there as well, and then you've got Bernard behind. So is Gavron going to play a little bit of team strategy and try to back them up and help Bernard get past as they come around here, looking really strong as they come around turn 23 and 24 into turns 25, 26, and 27 for the first time. Of course, this is a DRS zone, but no DRS for 2 laps after the race start as they come through. And then let's talk about the McLarens back there behind. AWS, I know the pit stop strategy go away. The McLarens are getting passed here by Spaghetti Mafia as they come around. Spaghetti Mafia, is he going to get 2 passes done in one straightaway? It looks like he was a little bit loose there, 3 wide between Spaghetti and the 2 McLarens, and they're going to try to pass him there. Spaghetti in the middle is going to have to drag through, and Noda on the inside is going to get past him there. Are they going to continue to hold on? Now you've got Bartosz and the Williams trying to have a little mix there. Spaghetti trying to hold on there, and it looks like Noda's going to get past him, and Barthez is not going to get past him. Barthez slowing way down, and that is the Williams of Maddie in the background spinning out. I don't know if there was a little bit of contact there or what that was. I see a little bit of wingtips falling back in the back. So safety car has now been deployed here after just 2 laps. A lot to unpack there, but what we can unpack is that Jack is up in the lead. JJ is in P3, and that was a crazy start there. Look at Syntax up into P8, gaining 2 positions right off the jump. Who's gained what? Let's look here. Jack up a position. Tazo, Ignis up some positions. Of course, Spaghetti up 4 positions. Choppa up 6 into P14. And Graxon, after that spin we saw, losing out big time down into P19. So now the big question, are any of these drivers going to go ahead and pit this early, or would that be pointless? Only one way to find out as we watch them go through here. Of course, if you pit just after 1 lap, you're going to lose out so much time for what's going to essentially be so little of a gain. But if you have damage, you're going to be very happy right now, as it's going to give you an opportunity. And you can see drivers back in the back for the 4th time. The pit stop strategy. If you don't know the pit stop strategy by now, we're on lap 3. You really should have knew it the first time I said it. Now, Drivers into the pits. Spaghetti, Matty, Buchik, Debe all going into the pits. Spaghetti going into hards. So Spaghetti, I believe, is going to play the long game here as we go through. Of course, all of these drivers, it looks like, are getting wing changes and fresh front wings. Looking through here at the field, of course, those back four did have to pit here, and if you are JJ, you're really going to be happy that your teammate is in front of Kubo, because there could be a little bit of strategy to play there and help get some passes done and get some things rolling as they come through. Safety car is going to be out for at least another lap. You can see the line the safety car is taking. Safety car does, of course, follow the racing line through. And watch the drivers as they come through. They're really going to be wishing the safety car would hurry up and go a little bit faster. You can see diving into the pits there's JJ. I wonder why he's diving into the pits now. What is he doing here? Oh, and he's having to put on a new front wing. He got damaged somewhere during that lap. So JJ having to put on a new front wing, and he is going to drop completely to last place in the field. Very unfortunate for the Ferrari driver. That's some Charles Leclerc Monaco luck that just came out. But for John Meister, he's going to be very happy. John Meister puts himself up into P3. JJ is going to be fuming after that, though. Drivers coming around here, coming through turn 13. As we watch them come through turn 13 here, you can see the marina back in the back. Of course, this track built right on the edge of the bay. Absolutely gorgeous as they come through. Syntex retiring out of the session. I don't know what happened to Syntex there. That is very unfortunate, though, for Aston Martin driver. I don't know exactly what just happened to him there. That's very weird. You can see Jack almost losing it too. I don't understand what just happened to him there. That was a weird place to have an issue. Safety car is going to be in this lap, and now that is our first DNF out of a driver here. So as we watch here, Jack on Kuba, on John Meister, on Tazo, on Ignis, on Gavron, on Wasserschwein, Bernard, Noda, Bartha is rounding out your top 10. Safety car coming around, and you can see the ships in the background again. This track is absolutely gorgeous, and as the drivers come through, Spaghetti Mafia on hard tires, and I wonder if Spaghetti Mafia is going to think about going to the end of the race. And you can see drivers backing up big time here through the turn, and Jack is just going to take off. Kuba backing way up there. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but Jack is gone. Kuba in P2 and John Meister in P3. It almost looked like Kuba had control of the field there, not Jack. And as Kuba's going to come through, John Meister is going to try to get this pass done around, possibly almost contact there as they go through. This is going to be the big battle here. Noda in P8 now after he gets past Bernard there. His teammate not having as good of a restart there. John Meister finally passed Kuba. And Tazo is going to be coming around looking to take advantage of Kuba's slowness as well. Tazo just a couple tenths of a second back. You see Kuba going very defensive there. Tazo is going to have his front wing there. They're side by side going into turn 13. Who is going to have the pass done? Tazo is going to shut the door. Or Kuba's going to shut the door on Tazo. And Tazo is going to continue to run him around the inside here as they come in through the turns. It is going to be just impressive as they go through here, coming around turn, that is going to be turn 16, 17 into 18. Tazo continuing to chase down Kuba as they go around here and still looking, and it's a great battle coming through so far. Now, of course, you have Ignis in the mix as well, just a couple tenths of a second back. Kuba trying to chase down John Meister and Jack. Jack just trying to build a gap and get going here. Of course, no DRS for 2 laps after the safety car. A word from Syntax is he was just trying to heat his tires and pulled a George Russell and spun, unfortunately for him. And now you can see Tazo and Kuba battling here around turn 27, a little bit of wheel-to-wheel there. And unfortunately for Kuba, that is going to be him losing out on that position. And Ignis is going to take advantage of well and try to get past Kuba here. And now there's Tazo, John Meister, fastest lap of the Grand Prix. And you can see back in the back, that is Wasserschwein and Gavron fighting out here. And as they go around here, coming through, that is going to be Wasserschwein's position to keep. Gavron is going to go a little bit wide here, and that's going to open up the door for Noda. So Noda now up into P7 as we go through and continue to watch. And of course, I said Spaghetti was starting on the hard. Spaghetti already dropping back to P17, continuing to lose time as he goes through here. Now, as the drivers go through, there is Tazo's first penalty and the first penalty of the race so far. Kuba's still trying to chase down Tazo here, but Ignis, of course, just a couple tenths behind that as well. Jack has stretched his lead to 1.1 seconds, and Tazo has 1.8 seconds to make up on John Meister. All of this battling they're doing here, just trying to hold on, is allowing these front two to take off and go away. Ignis is only a couple tenths back at the moment. Is Ignis going to be able to get a pass done as they go through? I'm continuing to watch as they go around, and it looks like here at the moment Ignis is not close enough. Of course, DRS starts next lap, so coming in through the run for turn 13 will be the first opportunity to get DRS that may allow Ignis to get a pass done if he can't get it done right here. And it looks like he's going to try to look around the outside, just not close enough. Is he going to try to brake a little bit later and go around? He's thought about it, and he's not close enough for that braking to happen. So for Ignis, he is going to hold on there on P5 for another lap. DRS is now enabled. Of course, though, they won't get DRS on this occasion down the main straight, but he does have the slipstream. He is going for it. Wasserschwein and Noda battling it out. Noda now into P6. As they come through and come around, and they're coming through. Noda P6 there on Wasserschwein, still holding on. Wasserschwein trying to have a little bit of a fight back in the background. Of course, Ignis here in P5, still trying to chase him down. We're on lap 7 of 25. Things are far from over here in this race. Mentioning Graxent here. Graxent trying to chase down Matouche and Barthez as they go around here and continue to go around. Coming through the first sector, the run into turn 13. John Meister has started to close the gap here on Jack. Gap is 0.8 of a second, continuing to close. So it looks like Jack may be backing out just a little bit on those 6-lap-old soft tires. Of course, drivers from P15 down of pit. Everybody else has not. Looks like something has happened to Graxent here. Graxent dropping down a couple of positions out of nowhere, and it looks like he may have just got ganged up on there coming out of turn 14 and got past. But as we watch Jack here, continuing to try to run away on John Master, but watch on Kuba here trying to have the rundown on Tazo, and Kuba is very, very close, and Ignis is right behind that as well. So it really is going to be a conversation of, are they able to get a double pass done here? And it looks like through this DRS zone they do not, but Kuba on the outside here of Tazo, he's going to think about the run, a little bit of a slide there from him, and they're going to continue to follow him down. Slipstream DRS open. Is Ignis from a little bit better of a run going to get past both of them with the help of DRS? And you see major defensive moves being made a little bit late there, a little bit cheeky, but as they go through, it looks like that is going to be Tazo holding on there, Kuba having to back out of it, and that is going to be Ignis getting past, as well as Noda going to be able to be the third bit of damage to go past there on Kuba. He is not, but for Kuba losing out 2 positions in one turn due to a little bit of contact there and a little bit of a poor run out of turn 27. Spaghetti Mafia has retired out of the session here, so that is going to be the Alpine of Spaghetti's race over. Jack under some pressure here, 0.3 of a second, 2.5 of a second, the gap here between John Meister and Jack. You can see John Meister absolutely staying right behind Jack here. He is going to have DRS, and John Meister picking up a 3-second time penalty. So did Jack, though. So this race still very neutralized, and there it is, DRS open. Jack on the inside, John Meister on the outside. Is he going to have the pass done? John Meister, with the help of DRS, has the pass done here, but of course, John Meister is going to now have to defend down the main straight as Jack is going to have DRS, and this is going to start a major battle of back and forth going down through here. I am sure of it. Jack with DRS open, trying to follow John Meister through. Is he going to have the pass done into turn 1? He's very close. He's going to break a little bit earlier, and he is going to just stick behind for another lap here, and we can see drivers starting to pit. Noda in, Gavron in, Bartosz in, into the pits here, getting off of those soft tires a little bit earlier. So I wonder if they're going to go into hards or if they're going to try to nurse mediums to the end. It looks like, as far as Note is concerned, he's going to go mediums to the end here. Same with Gavron and Bartosz. They are all going to try to opt mediums to the end here. As we continue to watch this battle unfold between John Meister and Jack here on lap 9 of 25. Jack, 0.6 of a second, starting to drop away a little bit. He's going to have to start thinking about pitting here soon, as John Meister is starting to get a bit of a run here. And of course, the battle for P4, we cannot leave that, or the battle for P3. Look at the amount of cars that are right behind Tazo here and just staying right on his rear wing and just not letting him go. Look at that. It's a train of 4 cars right behind him there. So it's a 5-way battle for P3 at the moment. And it really is a guess of who could come out on top. We saw some massive battles and then some major heartbreak in split 2, and I'm sure that that is going to be the same way here. And you can see Ignis with the help of DRS. Is he going to have the run there on Tazo? Tazo defending beautifully, though, and holding on to it. But you can see back behind him that Haas and Alfa Romeo of Bernard and Wasserschwein battling it out. Drivers diving into the pits now. It's going to be Tazo, Kuba into the pits here, John Meister into the pits, Bernard into the pits, Choppa into the pits. Multiple drivers coming in here on this lap. Ignis staying out another lap, Jack staying out another lap, Wasserschwein, Matouche, Barthez, Buchik, Debe. Of course, Buchik and Debe pitted earlier, so their tires are only 6 laps old. They can afford to go a few more laps out if they would like to. Lots of drivers into the pits, all of them opting for mediums, except for Choppa, who goes on to a set of softs. So Choppa looking to play a 2-stop strategy here, or possibly just banking on a late race safety car like what we had in split 2. Let's jump back here with Debe. Debe only 0.3 of a second back off of Buchik, and as he tries to get him there on the inside going into turn 13, thinks last second about it and stays out of that battle. He's going to have a good run out of turn 13, though, and going to try to follow around through the rest of the turns up until turn 25, the next DRS zone, as you go all the way down this back section here. On board here with David, and you can see just how close the gap is and how well he's actually managing to follow around this track. Braking a little bit later than Buchik there, and it's going to allow him to get a little bit closer on the gap. Gap now 0.3 of a second, and as they hit turn 25, DRS is going to be open here. And is he going to be able to have this pass done as he goes around? He's going to look on the inside. He's going to brake, not close enough for the pass, but he is going to have DRS down the main straight in order to try to make this pass happen as well. Of course, Buchik and Debe both pitting the same time, so they're both on 6-lap-old softs, so tires are not an issue here. As we go through, Wasserschwein, Ignis into the pits. Ignis onto a fresh set of mediums. Wasserschwein still waiting. Look at this pass, though. Debe around the inside of Buchik, holding onto it. Buchik trying to switch back. Beautiful pass coming around there. And for Debe, it is going to give him the spoils of P4 at the moment. Of course, Debe not starting last week, so this is going to be Debe's first race here as we watch him go around here in Season 5. And for Debe, this has been a great start coming through for him. Watching these gaps close down, we are in the pit stop cycle, so things are kind of getting a little bit spaced out, a little bit crazy. But as soon as all the drivers have pit, we know it's going to get really close again, and we're going to see lots more battles here, like the battle we're seeing from Tazo, Kuba, and Ignis here. Just half a second separating Kuba from Tazo and Ignis from Kuba. once we hit this next DRS zone here at turn 25, it really will be a question of who is able to get past who here, if they can follow each other through this entire back section of Sector 2 and the beginning of Sector 3. And with DRS open, Kubo and Ignis are still not close enough to get that pass done on Tazo. And Tazo is now just a couple tenths of a second here off of Maddie. So this is going to be a great battle that we're going to watch unfold as well as they come through here. Tazo, fastest lap of the Grand Prix, and he is going to be around the inside of Maddie like there's no problems at all. Jack in the pits. Jack is just now coming out of the pits, and he does come out in front of this battle here of Tazo, Maddie, and Kubo. So Jack finding himself in a very good position at the moment. But of course, John Meister right in front of him there. John Meister trying to have a run on Buchik, and Jack needs to make up 2.7 seconds on John Meister. John Meister showing some very, very strong pace as we watch here. John Meister now 0.2 of a second off of Buchik, and Buchik only half a second off of Debe. We have a yellow flag here in Sector 2. It looks like that was a spin from Matoush, and that is going to be a VSC deployed here. You can see there was a spin from Matoush. There is carbon on the track, and John Meister running directly over it. And Bartha is picking up a 5-second penalty here, deciding to pit under VSC, trying to lose as little time as possible as they go through here. And it looks like for them, it's just a matter of when this VSC ends here. Jack, P3 now, losing timeout on John Meister, though. Look at that. The gap is almost 4 seconds now. And as far as penalties go, there are a bunch of penalties still out here. 8 seconds for Barthez, 14 seconds of penalties for Chapa. All of the top drivers currently have penalties. We're back underway from this VSC. So penalties galore have been handed out, and it's really just going to be a case of who can take advantage of it. As we look here, Debe is up in the lead currently, up 13 places. And you've got John Meister up 2. Maddie is up 10 places here as he is getting passed by Ignis at the moment. JJ is down 10 places. Unfortunately, the big loser of this race in the Ferrari. But Debe in a really good position right now as he's battling it out here with John Meister. John Meister right around the inside, DRS open as they come through turns 25. And that means that Debe is going to drop down into P2 in a great position. Didn't pit under the VSC, unfortunately for him. So Debe, it's just going to be a matter of holding on as best he can here. Jack, the gap now already 1 second as he gets passed by Tazo here. Unfortunately for Jack, that's going to drop him into P4. Penalties applied. I have no idea who's going to end up where. All I can tell you is things are pretty crazy right now as Matoush and Buchik battle it out. Matoush coming out in the leader of that battle. Things have really tightened back up now. And JJ back in the back trying to have a recovery run here. JJ up into P12 now as drivers are starting to pit down through the mid and backfield. JJ on hard tires, just trying to hold on and salvage what he can through this race. And looking at the view here of the top 4 battling it out now. Debe, John Meister, Tazo, and Jack. And look at Debe, smooth around the outside there to get back onto P1 here. Tazo smooth around the inside here to get into P2. And then Jack is going to stick his nose into the mix as well and try to get back around John Meister. And Jack knows John Meister is the big enemy right now that he has to get around. Same with Tazo. He needs to get around both of these guys in order to be in the lead and then build up a gap. And look at that pass there. Jack, no DRS here, no DRS needed as they approach turns 23 and 24. He's going to have the pass done here on John Meister up into P3, and he is going to have DRS to try to chase down here. Tazo has DRS chasing down Debe. Debe on the inside going very defensive. Tazo trying to go around the outside here, and he's not going to have the space, but he is going to have DRS down the main straight. So for Tazo, this could be a great opportunity for him to get a pass done. That was an amazing turn there from Tazo, some great traction, and as he comes around down the main straight for Tazo, he is going to have the pass done on Debe. Debe not close enough to defend. Debe's going to have to drop back, and Jack almost out braking himself there into turn 1. I thought he was going to hit Debe in the back for just a second. Now look at Kubo. Kubo's in the mix now against Ignis. Look at this. Some amazing battles going around. John Meister into the pits here. So, John Meister dropping back. You now have Tazo, Debe, and Jack, your top 3 battling out. Ignis in P4 and Kubo in P5. So this is turning into a 5-way battle for the lead. And look at this, Debe down into P3, but only 0.3 of a second back here. So it is possible that he could have a run here. Of course, he is on the soft tires, so his tires are going to be dying by this point. But I'm sure Debe is just trying to nurse these tires because he's probably going to pit for another set of softs at some point, and he may just be banking on a safety car here at some point. But for Debe, he's going to have to be careful and make sure he is not the reason a safety car comes out. Look at Wasserschwein, though, with a great run here, getting away from Buchik as fast as possible. Tazo in the lead here as we come through. Jack only a couple tenths of a second back. We're going to jump on board here with Debe to watch this battle unfold in front of him. No, we're not, because Debe is now into the pits here. And look at this battle. Jack on Tazo side by side. Jack has the pass done before turn 1 even hits. And Kubo and Ignis, same way there. Ignis has the pass done. How many places is Debe going to lose from this is my only concern. He's currently down into P8. Is he going to lose more places here going into the pits? And it looks like he is going to lose more places, just barely coming out in front of Graxton there. So Debe up into P8, into the points paying places here. Jack, Tazo, Ignis, your top 3, all separated by just a second and a half here, as we watch JJ going into the pits onto a set of softs too to finish out the Grand Prix. 9 laps left to go here in Jeddah. As we come around here, again coming down the backstretch here through turns 20, 21, 22. I don't know if you can even really call these turns in a Formula 1 car. Turns 23, 24, looking very impressive watching through. Tazo only 0.4 of a second back. And Jack knows that he needs to run away from Tazo as fast as he can and try to break that DRS stream as they go through. With DRS, though, Tazo on an amazing run, but not close enough for the pass here. And Ignis and Kubo still staying in touch as well with the leaders. Now DRS open here for Tazo. And Tazo is going to be up the inside, and he is going to have the pass done before the start-finish straight. But Jack right back on the rear wing of Tazo here. This is going to be very, very nip and tuck back and forth all the way through the end of the race. And it really is anyone's guess who is going to be the one to win this here. Graxton and John Meister battling it out big time back in P9, P10. And it looks like that is because John Meister is actually into the pits here. I don't know why he's into the pits on 1 lap old soft tires, but probably wing damage is my guess, which is very unfortunate for the Alfa Romeo driver. It looks like it is due to wing damage, so they'll be replacing the wing on that Alfa Romeo, and he will be losing out on more positions there. John Meister, it looks like, was in a good position to fight for the podium, and now, unfortunately for him, it is going to be a guess on if he fights for points. Chapa now retiring from the session here, and it looks like we have a stricken His car is right there in sector 3. We'll see if a safety car is called as the drivers come through. We'll see if we can see what happened to him as well as we come around. Looks like his car is cleared. No safety car has been deployed here. Very impressive. And Jack is going to have DRS here. He's going to go around the outside of Tazo, and as Jack continues to go through, that is going to be Jack's pass done. Jack into the lead here. Ignis and Kuba still trying to chase those drivers down. Of course, this top 4 is now in a DRS train, so it really is a case of who has the better run here. Tazo, DRS back open, and Tazo is going to have the pass done again before the start-finish straight. But watch out, Ignis. Ignis is now in the mix as well, and Jack really trying to fight back into turn 1 as he wants to get that lead back. And I'm really shocked we haven't seen any DRS jockey going around of the drivers braking to see who can be the last one in for the DRS in order to give themselves DRS into the next DRS zone. Really shocked we haven't saw that yet. Look at the speed Tasso carries through there. It's very impressive to watch. And through the DRS zone going into turn 13, Jack is not able to get the pass done on Tasso here. So Jack is going to hold back through this turn 14 through 25 section. JJ fastest lap 129.2, but of course JJ outside of the point, so it would not matter because it will not pay him any points if he goes through and finishes there. And just look at this beauty going around here as we watch this battle between Jack and Tazo, and it looked like almost some rear wing contact as they come through, and it's just gorgeous to watch. These drivers chase each other as we go down around DRS open here into turn 25, and look at Jack around the outside of Tazo and through the scenes of the marina. Jack is going to have that pass done. We now have a VSC deployed here. And I didn't see exactly what that was for. I was too busy enjoying that pass between Jack and Tazo. But for Jack, he's going to be very glad that that just happened, as he's going to be able to retain the lead for another section here and get the switchback and not have to worry about Tazo going for a switchback. Ignis, P3, Kuba, P4, Matouche there in P6 going into the pits, and I'm guessing he may be the reason for our VSC. Actually, he is not. I don't know where our VSC came from. But Matouche onto a fresh set of softs there in order to finish out the race. 6 laps to go here. And Graxit now into the pits as well. We're watching here with 6 laps to go. VSC is still out, so we're just waiting on the race to get back underway here as the marshals take care of the track and make sure that any sort of damaged parts or caution is out of the way. And we are going to be back underway here, and Jack is going to have a bit of a run there on Tazo trying to get away. Ignis half a second back as well, so it is going to be a matter of how the DRS zones continue to play out for these drivers. It's very back and forth for these drivers all the way through. As we watch them come around. And they're coming down the main straight here, coming around. Jack able to retain the lead here. And now they're going to come down the main straight. But look at the DRS there. Tazo trying to get the pass done. Tazo does get that pass done, so Jack now into P2. Jack almost under pressure from Ignis and Kuba there as they go around. They're continuing to follow each other. Jack coming back around here, lap 20 of 25, 5 laps to go, and it's still just Jack and Tazo back and forth for P1, P2. Of course, Jack does have 6 seconds of penalties, so he really needs to get a push on here. The gaps are continuing to open up here for Kuba. He just needs to stay in touch with these cars, as Kuba is in a position where Kuba could have the win secured without having to finish P1 on track as they come around here. And it's just absolutely impressive to watch how close this racing is and how hard the drivers are pushing here. Mentioned Deba here in P7, almost going to be in P6 as we go around DRS zone for turn 13. Deba really trying to push there. Jack a tenth of a second back here. Look at this three-way battle starting to open up here. Jack gets around Tazo, but that is going to mean that Tazo has DRS going down the main straight, I believe, unless Jack was able to hold on to it. Nope, Tazo has the DRS as we go through and as we're coming around here, and that means that for Jack, he actually loses out another place on Ignis. Jack down into P3 now. You can see Kubo just sitting in the back, enjoying this battle, knowing that all he has to do is hold on for another 4 laps here. And great battling here between these drivers. Jack on the inside of Ignis. He's trying to switch it around here. Very, very close battle. Can Jack get past Ignis again to try to stand on the top step of the podium? And Jack right on the rear wing here of Ignis, trying to hold on. And now as we're into the DRS zone, Ignis is going to have DRS, but Jack has DRS as well. And Jack also is going to try to hold on to Slipstream here. As we go into turn 13, still not able to get the pass done. This battle for the lead is far from over with 4 laps to go. Just look at how close these cars are to each other. It's continuing to impress me over and over as we watch here. And Jack, a great run on Ignis. Is he going to have this pass done finally as he looks around? And that's going to be side by side there around the outside. They're going to both try to get past Tazo here, but Jack is going to shut the door on Ignis. Jack is on the outside of Tazo here as we go around turn 27. He's holding on to it here. And does Jack have DRS again? I believe Jack did not get DRS again. Oh no. So for another run here, Jack is going to have to defend extremely hard. He's got 2 very hungry drivers right behind him, and it looks like a little bit of contact between Jack and Tazo here. And Ignis is going to also have a peek around the outside here on Jack, and so close, almost with a wheel. And Ignis does have this pass done here, and it looks like we have had a spin from what I believe was Maddie right there coming out of turn 13. What happened to Maddie there? And it looks like it was just a gentle spin out of turn 13. No harm, no foul there. We're back underway. No safety car, no damage. And as we continue to watch this battle develop with just 3 laps to go, Jack right there behind Tazo. I'm really shocked we're not seeing DRS fighting here going into Sector 3. Jack back in the lead, but of course, we've seen this song and dance a million times now. Tazo with the DRS is going to have a pass done. Ignis not close enough for that pass. So this battle for the lead is continuing to go back and forth, back and forth. Kubo's picked up penalties as well now, so it really is just a matter of back and forth and seeing exactly who can finish in front of the other one as we go through. John Meister and Bernard battling it out there for P9. It looks like John Meister is going to have that pass done, but Bernard is going to have a fight back again down the main straight as John Meister is not close enough to David for DRS. And as they continue to go around here, it is going to be a pass of Bernard there on John Meister. So Bernard up into P9, last of the points-paying places being held by John Meister, who, as I said earlier, was in a fight for the podium before. But look at this side-by-side going down into turns 5, 6, 7, 8. And John Meister backing out of it there, knowing better than to fight that battle. We saw what happened to FOXXXES there in split 2, and he is going to hold on here as they go around. Jack closing in that gap, though. Look at that right on the rear wheels. Look just how close he is there to Tazo as they come around. And then he's still got Ignis and Kubo behind him to worry about. Jack close enough there. DRS is going to be open. This should be a very easy pass for him as they go around, but Is he going to pass, or is he going to decide to hold back for the DRS? Ignis should have a very easy pass to Jack, getting past him there. Gavin with a 3-second time penalty again added to his name there. Look at Jack trying to break the slipstream as we go down, and Ignis is going to be right there in the mix yet again. We've seen this multiple times over, and unfortunately for Jack, if he doesn't figure it out in the next 2 laps, it's going to cost him his race and cost him a podium potentially. As we go around here, Tazo's in the lead. Him and Ignis are wheel-to-wheel battling as they come through turn 2. Look at... Oh, and Ignis gets extremely loose and spins out there. And for Ignis, that is going to be so painful for him. And that is going to be very, very detrimental for Ignis. That takes him completely out of this podium fight. And Ignis is back underway. No front wing, though, and there's no way he can finish this race with no front wing. He is going to lose out big time there, and it's hard to say exactly how far back he's going to fall. I can tell you who's about to fall somewhere, though. John Meister and Bernard battling it out here. John Meister continuing to chase down Bernard and try to have a run here as they go through turns 7, 8, and 9. John Meister extremely close here. With the help of DRS, he should have a pass done going into this main straight, going into turn 13, and he is going to have that pass done extremely easy for him. With the help of DRS, he's through. Now look at these gaps that have formed, though, between Tazo, Kubo, and Jack. I don't know what caused any of that, but there are massive gaps now between these top 3. I believe Jack may have had an error into 13 or in the back straightaway section that could have cost him big time, but Jack now 6 seconds back on the top 2. Kuba and Tazo battling it out now for the top of the podium step. Unfortunately for Jack, Matoush right behind him has no penalties, so for Matoush, he is looking at a podium here on the final lap, and there is Jack is into the pits on this final lap here. And for Tazo and Kuba, it is all but over here as we watch here. Both of them have 3 seconds of penalties, so it really is just a battle to the end for these drivers as they go around. And as we watch here, Kuba is going to be just a couple tenths back. Can Kuba have the pass done here into turn 13? He does not, so he is going to have the pass potentially into turn 27. You can see just 3.5 tenths separating these drivers. Now 4 tenths as Tazo's having a pretty good run here through the middle sector, coming through turn 16, 17. As they come around, you can see gaps really, really settling in. John Meister trying to chase down Debe there for P7. It looks like for John Meister, he is close enough to Debe that he could have the pass. But is Debe going to have the pass back as they go through and around? Kuba just 2 tenths of a second. The fight for the top step of the podium is all but over as the drivers come around here. Coming around turns 25, 26, and Tazo is going to be passed here by Kuba, but Kuba is going to have the run down the main straight in order to hold on to it. It's going to be side by side as they come through here. Watch Tazo only a tenth of a second back, and Tazo does have DRS here. So Tazo is going to have the run. Is Tazo going to have the checkered flag as they come through? They're side by side, and it looks like it is just barely going to be Kuba there by half of a tenth of a second. Kuba has the win here. And as we go through here, Wasserschwein coming across now, but Wasserschwein with lots of penalties. Who knows where Wasserschwein is going to finish? As they come around, Jack is passing Bernard there for P9. Maddie out of the session now. Buchik crossing the line now for P5. Ignis coming around. This battle right here for P7, 8, and 9 is all but over here. P10 involved as well. Is Jack going to be able to move himself up here? John Meister P7, Jack P8, but Debe with no penalties up into P7. John Meister, Jack in P10. JJ, Graxent moving up now because of penalties. So Graxent P10, Jack 11, 12. Barthez, Gaviron, Bartosh, and Noda, the final drivers who need to cross the line as we come through. And what a race. What a back and forth battle we kept watching the entire time. And Bartosh wrecking himself right at the start-finish line. I guess because why not, honestly, the way the race went for him. Unfortunate for Bartosh. And looking at the winners and losers, Buchik up 13 places, your driver of the day. Jack and JJ down 9, losing out big time. But for Kuba, it is the spoils of victory. Amazing race coming out of the Mercedes driver. I talk about it all the time. It's all about consistency. It's not always about being the fastest. Sometimes it's about being the most consistent. Matoush, driver of the day. Some amazing drives coming in from Matoush, finishing up in the top. And you can see the celebrations for the podium coming out. Extremely happy drivers all the way around. So it's a Mercedes, Alpine, and AlphaTauri top three. Impressive racing there from all of these drivers. And as I've said earlier, this just shows where everything is here in FRL and just shows how close this battle is going to be all the way through. Kuba, Tazo, Matouche, Fosterschwein, Buchik, Ignis, Debe, Bernard, John Meister, Graxent, Jack, JJ, Barthez, and Gavron are going to go through your top drivers here. Looking at incidents, so many track limits warnings, some speeding in the pit lane, some collision warnings. I mean, I almost don't know what to do. Like, look at all of these track limits that have gone through, and that is just, we're only on lap 15, we're not even on lap 25. More terminal damages, track limits, collisions, corner cuttings. I mean, insane. It looks like that is what happened to Jack there. It was a collision between Jack and Ignis, and that's what caused them to fall so far back while we were watching that other battle. But that is going to be where we round off here. This round 2 of season 5 of FRL. Next week, we're going to my personal favorite track in all of Formula One, Australia. Good day, mate. It's going to be such a good race. I love Australia. I could drive Australia 7 days a week. It's the first track I ever drove in Formula One, and it's the first track that I ever grinded through. So a track I know very well, a track I love, and a track that I'm sure the drivers are excited for. But until next week, this is Bradley, the voice of FRL, signing off, and I will see you next week.